Hey, thanks you guys. Thanks for even showing up and listening to me. I appreciate that because I'm getting so much out of this conference. So I hope that I make this worth your while and your time. As I said, I'm Jenni Cook from Dreamscape Immersive. We are an LBE VR company. We are not only the content creators, but we're also the distributor exhibitor in it, which is incredibly unique and incredibly lucky and incredibly hard. It's all of it wrapped up together. A lot of you guys are in the immersive content creation world, and you know one of the bigger challenges is distribution. That is, everybody's running up against it. There's so much good VR out there. So few eyes get to see it. So when we took on this task of creating Dreamscape, that was one of the big things we knew, and that's one of the big things we wanted to solve for and figure out how to do distribution right, how to exhibit this, and how to get this out to the world. I know we're in San Francisco, and our only flagship store is open right now in Los Angeles, so I'm going to give you the quick rundown about what Dreamscape is and how it was founded, because that really talks to the history of what we're making and why. All right, our co-founders, Kevin Wall, Walter Parks, and then we have our Geneva team, Art, it's really hard to say fast, Art and M, say it really fast and you slur, so I'm going to just go slowly. Kevin and Walter went to Sundance, I think it was 2014 or 2015, I get this wrong all the time. And they were looking for a new business to invest in. They have both come from incredible worlds. Walter ran DreamWorks with Steven Spielberg for about 15 years. He is a filmmaker. He's done over 50 plus films, major blockbusters, Men in Blacks, all kinds of things. So he's a real storyteller. He gets it and he has a passion for it. Kevin Wall comes from the world of putting on Live 8, Live Aid, all major, huge productions. He comes from the music industry, but he's also a huge, passionate person about technology. So Kevin's always out there looking and figuring out what's next. He has the golden eye, so follow him, because whatever he finds somehow turns magically wonderful. So good investors on this part. And then our Geneva team came up with the technology. You have to have good content, but you have to have something that it runs on, and it has to run well, or it's useless. So what they had done, they had created a zero latency full body tracking. So you have markers on your hands, your feet, on your head, the backpack. So what happens is when I move my arm like that, it literally moves like that. When I walk, I can see my feet. That gives you so much freedom in VR when you feel your body. It gives you full agency. It makes you really believe you're there, and it really immerses you in what you're doing. So they saw that at Sundance and said, we want to put this together with them. The Geneva team was using it more for a medical purpose in the beginning, and then they started seeing what the value of VR could be in storytelling, so they were trying to figure out how to convert it into an entertainment system. And what they really wanted to do was figure out how to make it so that you could do it together. VR can be incredibly isolating. We know that. We get in there, we put our headset on, we forget the world, and we're alone. What Dreamscape's done is found a way to make it so 6 people go in together, you see each other, and you go through this experience as a group, which is an incredibly, I'll get more into it later, but it's an incredibly bonding experience to do that. So they formed Dreamscape. Then they said, we need to figure out how to run this right and how to take people through it. We want this to be a premium experience. We want to care about the guests, and we want to take care of them. So they looked over to Bruce Vaughn, who is, we've got some fellow WDIers here. So Bruce Vaughn is our CEO, and he came from 25 plus years working at Walt Disney Imagineering. He helped open up Shanghai Disney, and he truly gets parks, he gets people, and he gets how to take care of your guests. So he brought that Disney premium guest handling into the entire experience. So we have those people. We have Aaron Growski, our COO. He came with Kevin. He's this incredible businessman and knows how to drive the business and not let me spend more than 1 cent over budget. And trust me, he does not let me. So anyway, so that's our team. And that gives you a little history about what happened. So since then, I came on in 2014. Nope, I'm lying to you completely. 2017. I came on in 2017 as a consulting producer and then joined the team as head of production. Our first project we made was called Alien Zoo. You can see it right now down in Los Angeles. We took on the task of figuring out what does an immersive story mean and how do we build that. So we looked around and we thought we did not want to start with a licensed product. We wanted to really say to the world, we are content creators and we can make original IP. We enjoy licensed product. We're making a couple pieces right now with that, but we also really wanted to go out the door and show what we could do as a company and show that we were creators. So we made Alien Zoo. It is has anyone here done Dreamscape? Nice. The rest of you, I can't wait for your hands to raise up. Next year, I want them all up. Alien Zoo was a challenge, and it taught us a lot as a company. Having produced for over 20 plus years, I worked at Disney Feature Animation for 20 years, and I produced feature films, and then I moved to Sony and produced, so I thought, I know what I'm doing here. I got this. I can produce animation in my sleep. It turns out I was kind of wrong, and I don't sleep anymore, so. Sadly, that's so true. I'm sure all of you appreciate that. You know, producing is producing to some level, but this medium is a whole new challenge. And what I learned about was going to a startup company and building a story is a very different beast. I love it, but you know, as I tell my ex-Disney friends, you don't know where to get a Post-it, and you don't know how to find the storyboard, and you don't know what's going on when you're at a startup, but you get so much freedom to make something and make it really great, and you're not tied down by the beast of being at a big studio. And I mean that nothing negative about the studio. I learned my entire life at Disney, being there for 20 years. Yes, I was 3 when I started. I'm not that old. But I did. It was an education that I would never have gotten anywhere else in the world. But startups are wonderful for doing that. And so they really teach you how to get every hat on your head and do every job and really get into the nitty-gritty of it all. So producing VR and how we moved into that and what's the whole idea about making great stories. You know what, I have a presentation. I'm trying to remember which page I'm on, so I apologize, because I'm like, I don't even know where I am in my conversation. Let's see, we were talking about that. Okay, let's go with the original concept of how do you identify a good story to produce, and then how do you produce it? That's what I want to talk a lot about, because that's what's been the constant conversation I've been having at all the breakouts, at the dinners, the drinks, and everything, is figuring out what makes great VR. So we have to ask a few questions. When we get a lot of pitches, a lot of great creators come to see us, and we talk to them about what to do, it's really tricky to find that perfect story for VR. And the first question is, can it only be told in VR? If you can tell this story doing a live action shoot or going to visit a place, it's probably not the best thing to do in a VR story, because we want to take you someplace you cannot go unless we've taken you in your headset and with your friends. So like Alien Zoo, for example, we take you on an elevator and you go up into space and land on a spaceship, a floating spaceship that happens to have almost extinct alien animals. So unless I'm totally crazy, I do not think you can currently do that in real life. So right there, that was a winner. We have another piece of content called the Magic Projector, the Lost Pearl, which you walk through a movie screen. You start in an old theater, you walk through a movie screen, and you end up in an Indiana Jones-esque adventure, navigating catacombs, going through a temple, and getting on a crazy roller coaster-esque minecart ride. Again, I think pretty unique to VR, not real life. The final one we did currently is called The Blue. And The Blue is about deep diving to the natural habitat of the blue whale. And in it, I'm not going to give away all the spoilers, but in it you get to do something pretty epic, and you feel really amazing after you do that together. So great, check, check, check. Those all check the box of, can you only do it in VR? Next question, and this is the one that kills probably 90% of our pitches that come in. Who are you as the guest? That is so critical and important. Yes, I don't know who's clapping, but I love it. We need to think about that, because we are not telling stories at you. We are putting you in the middle of the story, and you have to have agency. You have to be part of that story, and you have to affect it. So that means you have to play a role. Again, that's where licensed product is actually pretty difficult. If you're working on a project with a team and they've had that out in the world for 20 plus years, you're suddenly really challenged on who you would be in there, because you're not that main character. You know you're not that main character, and yet you've got to fit into this known world. That's why we love original IP. It's much easier to work with. So we look at the guest and we think, all right, who can they be? How can they affect this story? But they have to do it together. They can't just affect the story alone. We don't want you having an isolated moment. We want you to be in it with your friends, and we want you all to be working together towards a common goal. So once we get through those questions, if we say, yep, it can only be done in VR, we know who you are, and we found a way to make you all do something in the story together, then we dive deep into it just like any other production, and we start developing it. At our studio, we have a dev team, and I think they're probably the smartest people I've ever met. Every day I feel incredibly stupid and lucky to be around them. So they take our creative, we work with Walter, we sit down, we beat out beats, and then they quickly start knocking out a previs or a gray box version of it. The value to that is we are utilizing the entire space in our VR. Our theater is probably not much bigger than this stage. So in our VR, we have you walking around, you are touching physical things, you're moving room to room, you're using the entire space. In order for us to be able to do that, we have to get in there early and fast. Rough and dirty, we call it. Just get in there and iterate, 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 and then figure out how we can maximize the use of that space. And so that's what we build up from there. Again, to how smart they are in Magic Projector when you're navigating the catacombs. I'm going to give a little away for everybody who hasn't seen it, so I apologize. You're standing in the middle with the 6 of you facing each other in a circle, and you drop down, and then suddenly we drop a wall in between you, and you no longer see each other. You have 3 and 3 on each side, and you each navigate, and you walk for what feels like a really long time going through a maze, and you're trying to get through each space and get to the other side of it. What you really are doing is we're walking you in just a really boring square. You have no idea you do that. You take your headset off. Every time someone does, they stand there and they go, I can't believe what did we do? Where did we walk? I'm like, you literally walked in a square, and that was all. But we've told you in your head you're doing something different, and we've made you believe it, and that's critical to that story. So continuing on producing it. So after we gray box it, we start looking for really great developers, and we go out and we find some of the most amazing teams that I've met before, and we look for them to plus it, and they build our assets, and they build our animation and effects. But what we continue to do is work on the physical side of it. Our stories are not only virtual, but we have haptics, and haptics are really important because they actually give you that additional sense that tells you the world you're in, what you want. We use a lot of VR tricks and tools to do that. We use butt kickers, which rumble the floor. So as you're going down, your floor is shaking a little bit. I am the easiest person to get nauseous in VR. They actually use it all the time at work, and they make me go in and say, does this make you nauseous? It's kind of cruel. They've actually literally bought ginger and put it next to the VR for me. It's so evil. But what helps me in VR is if I have physical things that are telling my brain, I'm watching this, I'm seeing this, my body is feeling it, therefore it's happening and I won't get sick. And that's what a lot of the rumbling will do for me. And wind, directional wind, it's amazing how important that is. We have you flying on a platform across a big vista in Alien Zoo, and I've got wind blowing on my face, and suddenly I believe I'm flying because my body's telling me everything we're telling you is true. We have scent. Again, another really great thing, because everybody knows that when you smell something, it causes a memory. It causes you to think of something. You remember where you were when you first smelled that. If you smell a jungle, you know you're in your jungle. So you start buying into things, because honestly, right now we all know that the fidelity of VR is only okay. We do the best we all can, but for optimization purposes, you can't have CG-esque on-screen, like an animated feature level of fidelity yet. We'll get there someday. I wish Nathan was here. I'd say it's because 5G is coming, but he's not. So shout out to Nathan on that one. We'll get there. And the technology will bring us up to that point at some point. So these physical parts, these additional things, help sell your brain on things where maybe visually you might have been able to say, I see that tree far away. It doesn't look that great. It looks only okay. I know it's not a tree. But if I smell the tree, I'm going to believe the tree. We also use spray, spritzes. We have moments where you go by something that's going to get you wet. We spritz you with it. We put your torch out that you're holding with it. It's burning a flame, and we put it out by spritzing water on it. And it's a trick. It's so simple, but people scream and they love it because they didn't expect to get that happening to them. And then we use a lot of touch and free roam. The idea when you're making a story like this and you're putting people into it, since it's new to everybody, you've got to tell them right away at the beginning of this that this is going to be something unexpected and different, and we want you to free your brain to it, open it up. So we really carefully make sure up front at the beginning of each story, we do something to you that we call a wow moment. It's a big, they call it at work a Dreamscape moment. It sounds a little full of ourselves, so we're just going to call it a wow moment. But that wow moment tells you right away, let go. This isn't what you're not used to. So in Alien Zoo, We take you up on this big elevator, land at the spaceship, the doors open, you walk out, you smell this huge vista that you've walked into, and this animal comes up to you, you put your hand out, and visually it's there, and physically it's there. We have an you say it, you know what I mean, thing that moves. Trunk horse that comes out at you. We call it the trunk horse. And you pet it. It's so simple. But right there, you have been told by our operators, told by everybody who's getting you ready, reach out, touch, explore. But you probably won't explore until something really tells you. And then from that moment, you see everybody. Every time something's coming near, they're trying to grab it. They're trying to move. They get it now. They're bought into it. And that's wonderful. So that wow moment starts you out, lets you know that something's going to happen. Free roam was the other one I told you. If people are standing there watching a product and they're just standing like this, you're probably not immersing them. You've got them observing and passively watching it, but they're not immersed. Even guests that we have come who are very new to VR, very tentative and nervous about it, end up doing a lot of movement, more than they expected to do, and they think they're just standing there. Some of them will tell you, I really didn't move around a lot. You take a video of them, you're like, yes, you did. You don't even know it. So free roam is really key because it means they're really exploring and diving into the story you're giving them, and they're eating it up, and that's what we really want out of this. We're talking a lot about the guests. I'm going to take a little break out of how to make a good story and talk a little bit about the guests because it really feeds into the story. We're not just filmmakers, we're dealing with the whole entire experience. So we don't want you just to show up, put a headset on, watch it, and leave. We want you to start being immersed and part of this story from the moment you saw the website, from the moment you walked past our store and you thought, I'm going to go check that out. Everything about what we're doing there is to draw you in, but to keep you, and in a good way. We spent a lot of time and effort, more than most people would imagine, on creating our storefront and creating our internal store. The entire brand of Dreamscape, everything we're talking about there, is a little content agnostic in that we've branded Dreamscape as a place you go to go on an adventure and to take a journey. So you show up, you walk through the doors, and there's a huge round clock behind this check-in desk, and you start realizing you've got this feel of almost like an old train station, more than just an airport. You get that you're checking in. We've got the now boarding and departure times right behind you, like you would see at an airport. And you go through the whole process. And that is telling you we're taking you on an adventure. So every time you come here, you get to go somewhere different. Because we'll change that content out. So we don't want it to be specific to any one. Then we take you and you can go wait in our departure lounge. And our departure lounge is very cozy and beautiful. I mean, the colors and the look and the feel of it is so calming. And that was all done on purpose. And we have museum-like cases filled with artifacts that represent each content. And we'll change that over. They're not specifically from the content, but it's building out that world. And that's what we really want to do, is we want to continue to build out those worlds. And so you go in there, you wait for your departure lounge, they come, they call, the 11:10 Alien Zoo guests now departing, and the operators take you back. To the credit, by the way, we have an operator back there in the back, brand new to Dreamscape. Thank you, Brendan. I just found that out, he started last week. To the credit of our operations team, we have some amazing operators, and they have really drilled down on how to train our operators to really talk to the guests, to see them, look them in the eyes, have an actual conversation with them, interact with them, get them in the mood for this whole experience, not be cold, that you're not just there, buy your ticket and walk away. They want to know why are you there, what are you doing, answer any questions after it. They want to talk to you about it. And that has been the best feedback we've had about our location, is how our operators handle everybody. Then you go back and you sit down and you gear up. You sit in these chairs and you put your gear up on. You walk on the stage. We blind you. We don't want you to see the guts of the stage. We want you guys to forget that this is technology. And you put your headset down, we calibrate you, take you through, you come out facing away from the stage, and you leave. Hopefully you never really look at what you're going to go through, because that's going to change always, and it's also not the point of what you're doing. We don't advertise with headsets, we don't advertise with the gear, we advertise our stories, and so that's where we want to focus it on. We also make sure we build out the stories on our website beyond what's in the content, and that goes to world building. I'm sure most of you in here are content creators, understand world building. It is one of the most critical parts of making really good creative pieces. You establish your world, you come up with the rules of your world, and then you never break your world, because audiences and guests are willing to buy into anything if you're following the rules you told them of that world. They suspend disbelief really easily, but the second you break it, you took them out of that. So world build is a critical piece to making good content. And it also is your best friend because it gives you so many different branches you can go down later. If you've built this world and you're telling one story, you've probably got about another 6 or 7 stories easily within there that you can then branch off and tell. You can carry it out in AR, you can carry it out on websites, you can carry it out in franchising. Anything you want to support your world can be carried out if you set it up right, and that pain up front will be excellent for you later. Where am I in my conversation? Sometimes I should use my presentation. Okay, so we've talked about making the story, world building, how you come up with it. The next biggest challenge in VR, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of, is telling people about it. Besides this conference, you walk outside and down the street into a busy restaurant and you ask, who here knows what VR is? What do you think of VR? They don't. They don't know it because it's just not out there enough yet. It is a challenge to everybody right now. The at-home business is one day going to get there. It's not there yet. We're hoping it goes there sooner than later, but right now we're still trying to explain to people what VR is, and we want to take the biggest challenge of explaining to them what our VR is without telling you about our technology. So we've made it even harder on ourselves in that way. But I think the idea of, instead of talking at everybody for that, is drawing them in the same way we want to immerse you in the story. We want to bring you in on our VR. So we have a really good social media group, and they're constantly putting out posts about our characters and making it as if these characters are real and talking about the stories and not talking about the technology. But honestly, until you actually come see it, it's really hard to understand. So, I mean, if any of you guys have cracked how to market VR, please grab me later and tell me what it is, because it is forever a challenge. And you want people to see it. You can't really show it. You can't capture images of inside the VR. You could, but it doesn't look good when you capture it that way. So you have to change it. And so we're still trying to figure that out. It's our daily challenge, but we're trying to get the word out, and we're trying to make it more of a common conversation out there. LBE is challenged across the entire industry right now for VR, and we are hoping we are cracking that and figuring out how to make LBE work. We can put 6 people in at a time, so already our throughput's working. That's giving us a business, which is excellent. We're having a really good reaction to our store right now, which is amazing for us, and it's amazing for everybody, because right now the entire industry has to work together to put out good content so that we can create really good interest in this product. We want people like The Void and Spaces and all of those to do really good. So we were pleasantly surprised. We know we're in the honeymoon phase. We know that we're new. We've got a lot of curiosity going on, and apparently there are a lot of people who don't work or go to school in LA. I don't know who these people are, and I don't know how I get their life, but darn it, I want it, because we are having excellent utilization right now, 7 days a week, selling out on weekends. We're sold out at nights, and we have about 20 to 30% more than we had projected being filled during the daytimes, which is pretty incredible right now. But we need to continue that. So we need to keep making more and more stories, and we need to keep getting ready to refresh the slate so that we can show people that this is just going to keep coming at you. But it is one of the bigger challenges for LBE right now, is keeping that going and just getting people through the door is the first part. The good news for us is a lot of our sales are online, and then we started seeing people foot traffic, people walking into the store and buying buying on walk-in, which means we're doing something right. We're piquing your interest. We're getting you to come in. The malls love it, so they're helping support us. So does AMC. Both of them led in our series fundraising, and both of them want more foot traffic. So we're already giving good business back to them, which means they're supporting us in every way they can get the message out. So that's a majority of what I was talking about. I spoke really fast, I think, because it's really soon. So I kind of want to just get into more conversation with people and talk about, like, what are you guys curious about? What do you know? What are you doing? There's a hand back there already.
So, where are we with that?
No, it's a great question, and it's a good point, and it just reminded me I forgot a whole part of what I was going to talk about, but whatever. Actually, You're correct on some level that you reach out and touch the trunk horse and you don't think it responds, but we actually put active markers on our trunk horse, so it does physically respond to your hand and it moves from you and it moves in. It acts like a curious dog who isn't trusting you quite right up front. We have a moment. Oh. No, no, it's an actuator. I don't know if I'm supposed to be telling you all of our secrets. We'll just do friend NDA here amongst us all. We also have a moment in Alien Zoo where we have these creatures called the frog cats, and they come down to the platform, they run around your platform, and they're very curious about you, and they're checking you out, and they're playing around. They reappear later, and they have a ball, which is like their fruit, it's their food, and they roll it to you, and you reach down, you pick up, and it's an actual ball, and we roll it right back to them, and they catch it and run off. So we are doing trickery to make you think it's responding to you. I mean, it is an interaction, and that is really one of our critical points, is making sure you feel like you are being seen in the story. Fully immersing your guests, a couple of major factors to doing that is making sure that they are being acknowledged and recognized by the characters and the world around them, and creating empathy. And that is a huge one for our guests. We want you to feel empathy, and empathy is so intrinsic in understanding another person's emotions. So it allows you as the guest to go through an emotional wave with the story if you have empathy, because you're not just watching it, you're feeling it. And feeling it means you're creating an actual memory. You're not reciting what you saw, you're reciting what you felt. So we carry you down the emotional track. We have the world interact with you. We figure out how you go up from a happy place to a scared place to a relieved place to a happy place. Small, big. That's your emotional arc we like to carry you out on. And with that, then you feel like that world reacted to you, just like if it was a live actor that was in there interacting. I think in the future we'll have a much smarter way to do that. AI will come on board stronger. We do trickery AI, I call it. It's the characters will track their gaze can track your gaze. We can also make it where I can be 6 of us in a room and we need a main character to somewhat look at you and tell you something. Each one of us will think that character's right in front of us. They can have they can have their own unique view. Everyone goes, oh yeah, he spoke to me. It's like, well, he spoke to each one of you. You just think it was just you. And so we have the ability to do that as well. So a lot of it's going to continue to advance as technology does as we get into AI, but we use the world to react. Sorry? Our guests we want everyone to talk. But you mean, what do you mean by? Not necessarily. It's not a back and forth. You can't just, it won't react to random questions and things, but we do get you to talk. We get you to laugh with the frog cats. We get you to play with them. You play with their habitat. We get you to bond and become part of it. And so that's, when we took away the mics in our headphones right now because we don't want it overwhelmingly. If you're in with 6 people, there can be some real chatty Cathys. And sometimes you don't want to hear what Kathy has to say. Or sometimes your 10-year-old son doesn't want to hear what Bob just said because Bob was not keeping his language clean. So we took that away for now. Yeah.
Could you talk about the location strategy for your LEDs? So is your location in LA and all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, our location strategy, absolutely. So like I said, AMC and Westfield were our Series A, Series B leading fundraising. They both really need the uptick of foot traffic. So they are very much looking at what are their higher end malls. Westfield Century City put $1 billion into revamping it. It looks amazing. It's got the best restaurants in it. So we get a little bit more of the affluent area so that people do have disposable income at the moment. That's the kind of thing we need to start with. And it puts us at a premium level. We are going to go and put new locations. We're opening Dallas, New Jersey, Ohio, multiple locations this year. Then we're going to go international, potentially by the end of the year, if not next year. And they will be either Westfields or AMC adjacent or in an AMC, but with an external and an internal entrance. So you don't have to buy a ticket to go to it. Theaters need help. They need people. So they're actually knocking down theaters and putting a Dreamscape location within an AMC that you can get to. So those are, for now, that's our biggest plan rolling out, but it'll continue to grow hopefully as we grow. So, yeah. Well, okay, so right now we don't have anything at home yet. So we haven't pushed any of our product. We will. We want that. We want business. We're focusing in the immediate on the LBE. We will convert it to go to home as home business as the home industry starts to grow in the future. And then we're also looking at multiple verticals. We know that you probably don't want to just be LBE. You probably want to get into some training and some other things that are less entertainment. Entertainment's pretty, as Bruce calls it, low-hanging fruit. It's easy. We know what to do with it. But we're going to keep growing. The difference from at home to LBE, honestly, is the full body tracking, and that is our Dreamscape special sauce, as we say. Our SDK, our platform that we put it on, for the moment, we're pretty unique. It doesn't mean people aren't going to continue to develop this, and that'll become more common, but right now it's pretty unique to us. So if you're at home on the Vive, you have the hand holders, and so you can do it. You can put our product into those moments, but you won't get the whole body, and then you won't get the agency that you want as a guest. So we're trying to stick with that right now because it really pulls that guest in and gives them the agency of being part of the story. The Blue, no, it's absolutely a relationship. Weaver is a co-production with us on the Blue. So the Blue was at home, it was a Steam, and it's a beautiful piece. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it, but it didn't have a story. It was go down there and see the beauty of being underwater. So we took that as an inspiration for our Blue. And we really loved the visual fidelity of the Blue. We loved Weaver as a team. They're really incredibly creative and smart. And we said, okay, we want to be inspired by that piece, but now let's make a story out of it. And so we took it to Dreamscape, put it on our platform, and then created an entire script story and worked with them for it. So it's inspired by, I would say.
How long is the duration of
Our content runs between 9 and 13 minutes, but you need about 20 plus for the whole experience. We tell people plan for a half an hour in store because we don't want to rush you in and rush you out. You could, but it's, and it also, the timing of each piece is variable because guests have to do things to move the story along. So, somebody could plow through it really fast if they know what to do and they pick up on all the cues, but some people can take longer, and then we have fail-safes. We have to come up with fail-safes. Those are really hard in VR to do a fail-safe that doesn't break world. So how do we move you? All right, you're not getting on your footsteps. You're not going through the movie screen. What do we do? Well, if you don't walk through the movie screen because you don't figure out that you're supposed to, the movie screen comes and takes you over. We'll get you there, but we've got to figure out how we do it. And fail-safes are, you got to plan early. We didn't on our first two, and I will tell you, we did it wrong because we were like, oh, at the end we were ready to release, and we're like, okay, what if humans don't get what we're doing here? Because it was very interesting what you learned from the population coming through, and so that was one. We did a lot of guest testing and then did some changes to make sure that it would work. Yeah?
Why do you feel that you guys are being successful where IMAX's VR failed?
Well, I won't talk negative about IMAX because I think they did a really good job trying. I think that when you talk about IMAX and you say IMAX VR, it's really hard to say what it specifically was branded about, what they were trying to do. And I think we're very specific about our branding. So I think it was a little bit more of they were showing a bit of everything, whereas we're really immersive storytelling in a really unique way, and the way we're handling it, the full guest journey is completely different. So I think IMAX just ran into that problem of just kind of throw a lot of stuff out there and see what sticks, as opposed to making a choice down one path, I would guess. It's a little bit somewhere in between. So we did those first 3, and we're working on 4 more right now. So I feel like I can finally talk about this because I actually, like a year ago, I would have been like, I don't know, we're making 2. I don't know. What do we know? But so the first challenge, one of the things my job is getting out to all of these events and trying to find creative directors and people with ideas and content. So identifying that is the step 1, and it's really, really challenging for understanding this. Then we work with the creative director, and Walter is very heavily involved, and so is Bruce Vaughn, on the creative development of a story. So we do a lot of brainstorming. We do a lot of story meetings. We're beating it out. We think we know what we're doing. We get in there. We gray box it. It breaks. We got to redo it, rewrite the script. It's the same, same as any movie I've ever worked on, animated film. Production takes 1/8 of the entire process. The rest is all spent in developing the creative. So it's very similar to anything else. I think the gotchas in this one are different, and that's what takes a lot longer for someone new to this to understand. Took us a lot longer than we thought. I mean, honestly, we have 100+ years of filmmaking experience in our studio, and we were just struggling that first year going, wait, we can do this or this, or, we tried to figure out how to utilize that medium the best. We're now getting it. We're now we're running down the path going, oh, this medium, we didn't even do this the first time. Let's push it further. Let's use this tool. Everything we can do to support the story, as opposed to just tricks for tricks. Well, I mean, when we talk about our location-based, meaning that we are the exhibitor, you go to our location and we have that entertainment there. You're talking about more of an AR thing with the Pokemon Go and where you go and you trigger it? Oh,
So what I'm asking is about when they're saying location-based, does that mean from my understanding, it's like AMC or all these shopping malls telling them where should you put this VR place? But instead of something like Pokemon Go, when you really go to some place, it triggers some content, and you interact with that. Yeah.
So you're satisfying. Anyone else can jump in and answer this one. I'm open. Yeah, I mean, that's just, I really don't know. I'm going to poorly answer. Yes, Scott.
I think I heard your question the first time. So
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because it is one of the bigger challenges. It's excellent when it works and when we do it right. It is incredible. You go in, I could put 6 of you and you don't know each other. You come out and we have created a common experience. So that is, again, to the point of empathy. Empathy is created when people get into and they have a common experience. And so you've never gone to an alien zoo. You've never gone to a spaceship. And so right there, I've put 6 of you together with one shared experience. So we start there. And then we continue to push that. You have to do something together. We want to make an activity that needs the most of you working together. And if you do it and you really buy into it and you're all doing it together, you're going to successfully have relief and happiness, and you'll feel that success together. Again, another emotion we just gave you to bond with. Alien Zoo, you're going through, you're a tourist on this thing, and all of a sudden you get into a cave and this alien, the bad alien, attacks, and you guys together have to fight this alien off to stay alive. Right there, we've done something good for you. Magic projector, we put you in the catacombs. You have to get to the temple and save the pearl. And the pearl is what your goal, you were told up front, this is what you're going to do. Okay, go get it. We've tasked you. We've put you the responsibility on you to get this done. And when you get the pearl, something goes horribly wrong and you guys have to save each other. So again, it's carrying you through that emotional arc, and it's giving you a direct task and telling you, we need you to step up and do this. We have the fail-safes if you don't, because some people do like to sit back, but I'm telling you, 6 people in there's always one that's going to get the rest of them going. Yeah.
You have a maximum of 6 people. Do you have a minimum? And how do you deal with varying sizes?
Well, we don't have a minimum. You could go in one person. It's a lesser experience, so we will probably put an operator or 2 in there with you so that if you just showed up and no one else bought that ticket, I would want someone in there with you. So we'll put operators in with you, or we'll figure it out. But it's a maximum of 6 right now, and that's as crowded as we want to be in that size of a stage. We could fit more people. We technically could handle more people, but it gets a little crowded, and we don't want you bumping into each other. Yeah. We don't have noise canceling, so you can still hear each other, even though it's not through that. And per title, we're looking at it. We are actually developing a title where we're probably going to have it. We're going to be potentially flying, and so then we want to hear each other, and you want to hear stuff. But then also we handle it technically where voice chat, we can make it where I'm right next to you, so you can hear me, but you can't hear me back there. So we spatialize it, and we handle it in a technical way to make sure that it's based on how close you are to each other. So we're looking at it from piece to piece. It's out there. It's just a creative choice right now. Okay, one last really quick question. We work together. Yeah, oh yeah, good question. Yeah, we are ADA compliant. We have closed caption for hearing impaired, and we have wheelchair ability, and we have a virtual, we put markers on a virtual wheelchair and a physical wheelchair so that you would see it. And so we're looking at all that. We don't have anything for vision problems because probably you're not going into VR if you can't see. So we did talk about that though. We have ghost arms or ghost legs if you're someone who doesn't have a leg or an arm. We got that. So we are ready for everything that we can think of right now. And so that's really important to us because we don't want this to be a closed off experience to anybody.
So you'll take away the avatar's limbs?
No, we have a ghost one, which is a proxy. Yeah,
Okay.
it just stay there. Yeah. And so, all right, I think I got my 1 minute and I'm done. So thank you guys. I appreciate this conversation.